This is the High School Crossfire. Welcome back.
Panel. So in this debate, we really feel that the negators are just here and rotating all of their issues on agriculture and how taxation is going to overburden the citizens of Uganda. But we as the farmers really feel that agriculture is still going to be taxed. You cannot tell someone to carry out agriculture and you take all the products that he or she is going to take. So therefore we believe that when we tax agriculture, we are going to get income, and therefore agriculture still is going to rely on taxation. And in this case, we also feel that you talked about how we are going to overburden these people with our taxes. But in our work plan, we have told you that we are going to provide taxation, which is a progressive taxation and has exemptions for lower income individuals. That is, everyone will be taxed according to what he or she earns. If you earn more, you will be taxed more. If you earn less, you'll be taxed less. And therefore, in this case, we shall find out that these people who earn less are not going to be that affected, because still the money that will be being taken from them will still be less. We have not said in our work plan that we are going to tax the people with the same amount of money. We have said if you earn more, we shall get more taxes from you, and if you earn less, we shall get less taxes from you. Therefore, you don't come in and tell us that we, the farmers, are really planning to overburden the people with the taxes.
COI.
Not granted. One thing we as the farmers would like to inform our panel of today is that the moment we tax these people, for example, in Uganda today, we have seen reluctance in the government of not granted. We have seen reluctance whereby the government has no one to hold accountable of it. But the moment these people know that they are taxed and it is their taxes that hold everything, that control the production of everything in the country, they are going to always ask for accountability. And therefore, the moment the citizens ask for accountability, we are going to see development in our economy, because the government will always know that it has to hold accountable for the money that it receives. Therefore, we believe that taxation should be the main source of government main avenue of government economy, simply because it is going to make the government, not granted, hold accountable of the money that it takes, hence utilizing the money responsibly. Then, one of the main points we would like to base our arguments on today is that it is going to reduce dependency on external aid. In Uganda today, the government is going to spend 1.826 trillion shillings on payment of external debt this year. And if we try to look at this money, it is a large amount of money to be spent on debts in 1 year. This means that Uganda is facing a high debt burden rate. And therefore, in this case, we believe that we should learn to depend on ourselves, not on debts, not on loans, no grants, because these things are not reliable. Let us depend on our own income. Let us find taxes from our own people, from what they do, so that we can develop our own country. They've talked about other sources of income that can be used. Things like loans offer high debt burden due to the high interest rates. And therefore, these things are not reliable. Instead, we shall have a falling economy in Uganda if we continue depending on the loans. They've also talked about other sources of income that we can use, donations and grants. But these things are not reliable. You cannot predict when someone is going to donate to you. You might have an urgent call for something, but then you find out that you don't have money. So Ugandans, why do we really have to depend on other countries when we really can depend on ourselves and improve our economy? Another thing I would like to talk about is that it will provide consistent and sustainable source of funding for the government activities, no matter what. They've talked about agriculture, but one thing I would like to inform is that agriculture at some point is not reliable because it is affected by things like climate change. But meanwhile, if we depend on taxation, we have other things like industries which shall be providing us with the carbon tax, inheritance tax, and therefore in this case, if the agriculture goes down, we shall be having other sectors to give us the taxes. Therefore, we find out that it is going to provide consistent and sustainable source of funding for government activities. I beg to rest my case.
Resolved. Now, panel, today the affirmative case is actually lagging out. Now, panel, they come here and talk about agriculture, and they tell us that our agriculture sector is actually going to be taxed. That shows that their tax is not reliant on itself, it's actually reliant on the other activities, rather the other sectors that they are saying. Now, panel, their first farmer said they are only taxing inheritance tax and tax on industries. So they did not actually clarify to us that they're depending on agriculture or any other thing. So they are actually relying on two sources of revenue, and of which how can you put a whole country dependent on only these kind of taxes? Now, Pano, they come here and tell us that people are going to be taxed according to how you're earning. Now, if you're taxing people according to how they're earning, that means you are putting direct taxes. Now, direct taxes only go to the formal sector. That means you're only taxing people who are formal and leaving out the informal. And even if you are taxing the poor, where is their source of income? Where are they getting this income that you're actually taxing them off? They are poor, they do not have a source of income, which is why we say agriculture is the more reliable source. Which is why we said agriculture is more reliable source. Why is this? It is because agriculture is the foundation, it is the basis of the country. 84% of the people who live in rural areas, agriculture is the main source of their income. And we look at these people having employment under agriculture. When there is employment, there is high productivity. When there is high productivity, that is more income to the country through exports, through imports, and that is another source of the government's income, a source that we can reliably we can actually depend on. Now, the first farmer talked about the IGG being help to them. Now, the IGG has been there, but it hasn't solved the problem of corruption. Even a house they stand in today, Pano, as the URA, is not a place for you to suggest a policy that is going to affect the whole nation. But we're looking at our house as the citizen initiative for development, whereby it's a community organization that involves every citizen. We are looking at a policy that is going to start from the grassroots of the economy, because we cannot have one sector develop, and of which we cannot have the high sectors develop. We have to start from the below people. We are beginning from a common person to a higher person. Government is getting, and people are also benefiting. This is the only way we are going to improve our economy. Now look at their taxation. Taxation can be invaded. Look, even if they bring up their plan of actually informing people about the uses of taxation, taxation can be invaded. If taxes can be evaded, that means it is not a reliable source. But we're looking at these people, even if you look at the tax sector, it only employs a few number of that. It also employs a very little number of the of the Uganda sector. But when you look at agriculture, it employs 70% of the Uganda sector, according to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics. It contributes 24.1% to the GDP of Uganda. But unlike their sector that contributes only less than 14% to the Uganda's GDP, how can we put our people at risk? Now, what is the effectiveness of the agriculture sector? We're looking at agriculture sector being a sector that is multi-purpose. We're looking at aquaculture. This is involving all the fishermen. We're looking at animal culture. That is involving all the farmers. We're looking at agro-based tourism. This is attracting tourists. That is foreign exchange coming into our country. We are looking at employment of our people. That means we are solving a problem of unemployment that the government has not been able to solve. Now, if there is employment, there is high productivity. When there is high productivity, that means there is earning of the government. Now, is taxation acceptable by the people? No. Now, then we are actually saying that there is lack of acceptability in their case. But now we are looking at something that is already embraced by the nation, something that has been going on. We showed you an example of an initiative that was brought upon by the Kabaka, showing Mkumbi Telimba, a who does not lie. These initiatives are going to be put within societies, and they're going to help out. They're going to help in the improvement of the sectors. Thank you so much for listening.
This is the High School Crossfire. We'll be back in a minute.